The Spurs return home to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Preview that and ask the big question still, what's going on with Sohan?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kens 5 San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. Hope you're having a great day. And as always, thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know what to do. Subscribe ASAP. Locked On Sports Podcast Network is also the number one in the nation. So way to go, everybody. Thank y'all for making that happen. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at tonight's game, Spurs Grizzlies. The Spurs return home for just one game, and then they're gone another 2 weeks. So hopefully they'll leave San Antonio with a W. We'll look at the Grizzlies and we'll look at the Spurs. Then ask a question that's been kind of floating around. It's getting louder. What's up with Sohan? During the recent road trip, minimal play. We're going to ask that question. And then if we have time, hopefully we do, but if we have time, we'll throw in a fan comment. And hopefully we do. You guys are leaving a lot of comments. Let's go to bring in our guest. He is back, everybody. My colleague right here on Locked On Spurs. He is Mr. Devin Brown, former San Antonio Spur, UTSA great, and co-host of the Locked On Spurs post-game podcast shows you can find on YouTube right under the live tab. Click on that live tab on Locked On Spurs YouTube page and you're good to go. Devin, welcome back, buddy. Glad to have you.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Always good to join your show.
See, not only are you a Hall of Famer, you're a multitasker. You can podcast and drive at the same time. Look at you. Look at you. You got all the skills, man.
I just won't say my location so I don't get any trouble, but yeah. Multitasking right now.
All right. Well, we don't want Devin to get pulled over by the cops, so let's jump right into it, and we'll talk more about the Locked On Spurs post-game shows in just a few minutes. So, Devin, the Spurs return home to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. The Spurs are 1-0 versus the Grizzlies this season. Now, the Spurs are coming off that loss in Minnesota, which I felt was winnable. They did it to themselves. Nevertheless, how do you see the Spurs mindset coming into tonight's game, coming off a loss versus Minnesota?
Well, definitely, they took care of business as far as the NBA Cup goes. And, a lot of people, they're kind of like, well, it's just no. Let me tell you something. When you have a team like this and you're the front office, these guys are playing well. Right now, a little bit of a hiccup in Minnesota, but Jeff, I expect them to come back. The fans are going to be excited because of the road trip, and I'm looking for a great atmosphere and them to get a win versus Memphis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the Spurs should get a win. This is a Memphis team that seems to be kind of discombobulated to start the season. We'll look at the recent last games, and maybe the Spurs shouldn't let their guard down. But there is some reported dissension between the head coach and John Morant. John Morant has not been the John Morant that we all know of late. But Spurs fans and the Spurs themselves, do not let your guard down. Devin, let's go and look at the Memphis stats. In the last 5 games, Devin, they're 4-1. They're 4-1 in the last 5 games. They're averaging about 115 points per game, and they're winning the close games. Their plus minus in the last 5 is a plus 2.8. So they're getting it done when it counts, and that's at the end of the game. 3-point shooting, they're up about 37%. But this is interesting. Assist for the Memphis Grizzlies in the last 5 games, 30 assists per game. They're sharing the ball. Your thoughts?
Well, coming off of San Antonio having 17, the other game against Minnesota, 30 seems like a whole lot. And that's what you do. A lot of these NBA teams will count what you've done your last 5 games. So with them being 4-1, they're rolling. Okay, I know there's some stuff going on. But they have other players that are stepping up. So I'm going to tell you what, San Antonio, it's another opportunity to play in front of the fans. Great home crowd to be there. And yes, Memphis is coming in. Should be an exciting game.
Yeah, I'm expecting an exciting game, a thrilling game too. Obviously, you don't want John Morant to become John Morant versus San Antonio tonight. He has not looked the same of this season. There's reports coming out that him and the head coach may be butting heads a bit. Obviously, that never happened with you, with Popovich, but you did
Right.
experience that with other teams, maybe just from word of mouth from your colleagues in the NBA. What type of dynamic does that create when your star player butts heads with the head coach?
Well, what it is, yeah, I never experienced with Pop. No, I'm not a crazy person, Jeff. I'll take a chance or two, but I'm not a crazy person. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but even like, it's so weird because with Tim, you never saw the two of them mad at each other or anything like that. Now, when you talk about I have been through it, yeah, Jerry Sloan and myself, we bumped heads. I had started something like 10 or 15 games in a row. Yeah. And then without a conversation with me, he started another 2-guard. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, his comments after the game, I still played 25 minutes, but his comments after the game, if anybody has a problem, you can show up early to practice and come talk to me. So I did, and I wanted to know what was going on. Now, some teams don't have that open door relationship. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure, I'm almost sure that when you have a superstar like Ja Morant, they've had a conversation. Okay. Yeah. They may have some differences, but for the betterment of the team, they have to make sure that what is said behind closed doors doesn't show up on the court. And Jeff, I've seen some of the stuff that's going on in Memphis. I feel like the team knows more than they're sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're digging deeper in the stash of Memphis in the last 5 games. They're getting it done defensively too, Devin. They're averaging 6 blocks per game in the last 5. They're averaging 6 steals per game in the last 5. And rebounds, a whopping 51 per game. 51 rebounds per game in the last 5. And Zach Edey, he's been playing great of late. And as of this recording, Wemby, looks like Cornette and their other bigs might have their hands full with Edey and Triple J. Your thoughts?
Hey, you gotta love Triple J. He's the son of one of our own, Jaren Jackson, Hall of Famer. Yeah, so we love him, but once that ball goes up, you got to make sure you know where Triple J is because he's a darn good player. And the thing about it is when you say 51, that's a lot. That's like Tim and Dave numbers right there. Oh, yeah. So, San Antonio, they're gonna have their work done, and we're gonna get into it later about that 4 position because you saw San Antonio against Minnesota go to a small lineup with either Barnes at the 4 or Keldon played the 4 a little bit. So what's going to have to happen is whoever's on the floor, find a body, box out.
Yeah, simple as that. Again, for the San Antonio Spurs, let's go ahead and switch sides now. Look at the home team here. Again, success for all intents and purposes, a successful road trip, despite going 2-2.
No doubt.
They lost in Minnesota, but like you mentioned, they punched their ticket to the NBA Cup quarterfinals. If you had told me without Wemby and Castle they would go to Denver and beat Denver with Joker on the floor, I would have never believed you. But they did that. They handled business versus Portland. The most frustrating loss in the 4 game was Minnesota. That was a game they should have won. That was the one that was in their hands, and they just let it slip by. But all in all, a good showing considering they did not have their 2 power players. For tonight's game, I want to see a little bit more out of Harper. Harper's back. Yeah. He's playing great. I think going up against a big team like Memphis, him getting to the paint, can he do that against the big guys? And also, too, statistically, he is excellent in attacking the rim, in the paint, finishing. But I want to see what happens if teams kind of play his cards and say, you know what, if you're going to beat us, Harper, beat us on the perimeter. I wonder if that could happen soon, if not tonight. Do you think we might start seeing that type of defense on Harper?
Well, let me tell you this. I'm going to, go back to that Minnesota game. Yeah. And it's funny because that fourth quarter, I pay attention to everything, like when you're watching a basketball game, and every time Harper got a layup, I happened to look at the top of the screen and I see Rudy Gobert. He couldn't sit still over there. Hey, I'm saying Rudy Gobert because they have Nas Reed, who changes the whole dynamic for them. But anyway, so when you say shot blocker, you're going to have Triple J out there. You're going to have Zach Edey out there. These are guys that actually are going to block shots. All right. And the reason why I brought up Minnesota was that's not Nas Reed's game. Like they'll give up layups because they want to hit threes on the other side. So Dylan's going to have to be able to go to the floater, use a Euro step, and be creative because these big guys are going to actually challenge him this game.
Yeah. I think he's going to be challenged as well. All in all, I think the cleanup work for the Spurs heading into tonight's game is almost, I want to say simple because it's easier said than done, but don't play ISO balls we saw in the second half versus Minnesota.
Yeah, you cannot. They're going through stretches, Jeff, and it's like 5 or 6 minutes of it. And listen, I give Masson a lot of credit because he had it going, but it feeds right into what you're saying because some of those shots that he's taken 1-on-3 went in Minnesota, but we've seen in the past it can get us in trouble.
Absolutely. Other things they need to clean up too is defend the 3-shot. My goodness, I mean, DiVincenzo looked like the second coming of Steph Curry. It is not good, and we saw that too to start the road trip in Phoenix in the second half, where Devin Booker just lit them up. So, and even before that, Devin, remember the win versus Atlanta in San Antonio? Statistically, they outshot the Spurs by a wide margin. Spurs, in my opinion, I think they were lucky to win that game versus Atlanta. So I think the perimeter defense still needs some fixing up. The Spurs should be okay, but I'm expecting a slugfest tonight. What about you?
Yeah, no, I'm expecting the same thing because, like you said, Minnesota's playing well, and they know how big it would be to come in and get San Antonio in this one. They're in the same situation San Antonio was in a couple weeks ago going to Phoenix. You play there, and then right away, like 2 weeks later, you're back there. So they're going to come in with lots of energy. Now, Ja is playing, right?
Yes, he is playing.
Yeah, so, that first time, that's when everything had happened. So this time he's coming in, and he'll have his guys ready to go.
Absolutely. All right, well, there's your quick preview of tonight's Spurs-Grizzlies game. Hopefully the Spurs get back on the winning track and start racking up some W's instead of L's. We're not done talking with Mr. Devin Brown, co-host of the Locked On Spurs post-game shows. When we get back, we're going to talk about Sohan. That was kind of one of those themes, what's going on with him, that popped up again during the recent road trip. Let's talk about Sohan coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. Let's talk about FanDuel. NFL Sunday moves fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. And that's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is the best way when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, defense tightens, and momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads, money lines adjust instantly, player props update as guys heat up. You can bet the next touchdown scorer, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. And we're back with the mobile Devin Brown right here on Locked On Spurs. And he can dribble the ball, shoot the ball, podcast, drive, all at the same time. That's amazing. That's amazing, Devin.
Yeah. Thank you.
He is my colleague here on Locked On Spurs. He is co-host of the Locked On Spurs post-game shows. More on that in just a few minutes. All right. One other thing that kind of reared its ugly head again during the recent road trip was Jeremy Sochan. You would figure without Wemby, no Castle, just maybe needing some bodies out there, that someone would get some run. And he did get some run, yes.
Right.
but
Right.
not a lot as many probably would have thought. And when he is out there, at times he looks lost, and at times it looks like he's not being effective.
Yeah.
What is your read on what's going on with Sohan right now? Is this just simply he just fell out of rotation because of injury and trying to claw his way back? Is it something as simple as that? What do you think is going on?
No, because before his minutes were in the 20s. This last road trip, 4 games, I believe it was like 8-8, 8-12, or 8-8, San Antonio, something like that.
Right.
So what's going on there is, they're back. I'm not sure if they would have taken today off if they get in there and have some guys shooting around. If I'm him, I go have a conversation with Mitch. We all know on the outside what it is that he can do. You're not sure on what the coaching staff is thinking right now. But that's like that's not a bad matchup, him against Naz Reid, just keeping an eye on things like that. And, he's one of those players that he doesn't do one thing great. He does a lot of things well. Yeah. And so, he has a niche and he has something that's going to keep him in the NBA. I'm just not sure what direction San Antonio is wanting to go with him because, Jeff, let me say this. I agree with you 100%. When he came back from his injury, he was very aggressive, looking for a shot, hit his 3, and now he's just trying to dribble hand off everything. So that's got me confused as well.
Yeah. I just don't know how to read this situation. A part of me wants to say he's just a byproduct of falling out of rotation. And maybe when everybody's healthy and everybody gets set and Mitch can finally give everybody their minutes and roles and maybe things will shake out. Right. Hopefully that will happen. But Sohan, we look at his last 5 games. Remember the last 5 games with Jeremy Sochan. He's getting minutes. He's getting about 16 minutes. He's giving you about 5 points per game. But here's what gets interesting. He's only averaging about 35% shooting from the field. He's not even taking a 3 shot. I mean, maybe he's taking like a couple, but he's not making any. So he's not reliable on the perimeter, not even from deep. And fine, we know that's Sohan, right, Devin? We know he's not he's not Curry. He's not Steve Kerr back in his playing days. But in those 15 minutes, let me see you do something else. Let me see you do other stuff impactful. Devin, 5 games, he's averaging 3 rebounds per game. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's tough because when you're a player, you don't want to get on the floor, and this is going to help you out too as well, Jeff. Okay. You don't want to get on the floor and play mistake-free basketball. Like, you don't want to be in your head while you're out there and you're saying, okay, if I make one mistake, I may come out of here.
Right.
You cannot play this game like that, especially at the highest level. So with Sohan, the 3 rebounds, that's concerning because you want him to be between 8 and 12. The shooting, it's not the fact that he's missing 3s. He's missing them at key times, whether the other team's on a run or he's wide open. So that's what the coach is going to look at too, is the timeliness of the shots that he's missing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we look at the plus minus when Sohan is on the court in the last 5 games, the Spurs are a minus 4.4. Now, that could just be because he's not making his shots and it's detrimental to the team. Likely that's what that is. But it's just tough. I know we're going to talk a lot. I know we spoke about this on yesterday's Locked On Spurs Roundtable show. But, nevertheless, ultimately, Devin, I don't know what's going to happen to him. Would I be surprised if he gets traded at the trade deadline? No, I wouldn't be. Am I now surprised that the Spurs didn't re-up him in the summer? I'm not surprised. It just feels like as of right now, maybe things will change, but as of right now, Devin, he might be the odd man out. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a tough situation. I never want to, say too much about, players and their money, but looking at the situation, I think you're absolutely right. Like, it just seems like he's going to be packaged up with somebody, and that's what's going to happen. But, we don't know. We have to wait and see because, he can come out tomorrow night and have 25, and then we have a different conversation. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But I'll tell you what, for his time served, Spurs fans love him, whether he's going to be here or not.
Yeah, exactly. And look, there are the other intangibles too that we've mentioned already. We mentioned the injury that hit him. That's probably a big reason why, what we're seeing right now, just again, fell out of rotation. The Spurs have been rolling without him when he was hurt. Even De'Aaron Fox said, one of his hesitations coming back was disrupting that chemistry. Maybe that's disrupting Sohan too. I do want to give him the benefit of the doubt of that, and I do want to see what happens when the Spurs get close to 100%. And how then Sohan will fit in. So hopefully that will shake things out, and hopefully Sohan will be that Sohan that we all know, as Devin, you mentioned, and you're right, he does a little bit of everything, but right now he's not really doing that. So, hey, well, what do y'all think about Sohan, everybody? You can let Devin know simply by going to the Locked On Spurs YouTube page, leaving a comment for Devin. He will likely get to it, either Roundtable or he and Casey will get to it on the Locked On Spurs post-game shows. You can let me know what you think on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. And believe it or not, everybody, we do have time for one fan comment. So let's go and do that when we get back right here on Locked On Spurs. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The holiday season is one of the best times for sports, bowl games, big basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while we're making choices every day, one of the most fun places to make the right call is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the easiest way to get in on the daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, fast, available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Prize Picks has added an extra layer of excitement to the holiday sports schedule. Creating a lineup takes less than a minute, and the app makes the whole process smooth and intuitive. You can choose from a huge range of unique stats, fantasy scores, field goals, attempted, free throws made, turnovers, whatever fits your strategy. Deposits and withdrawals are quick and easy, which keeps everything flowing. And the new Stacks feature lets you choose a player up to 3 times in one lineup, like more on a QB's passing yards, touchdowns, and rushing yards. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 bet. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by my colleague right here on the show. He is Mr. Devin Brown, Hall of Famer, Spur, Indian champion. The list goes on, including driving while podcasting. That is awesome. He can do it all. He can do it all. All right.
Hey.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, as long as I'm not golfing during the podcast, we're good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into let's get into one Locked On Spurs fan comment, and we'll stick with the Sohan theme because it looks like Sohan's name is already on the lips of Spurs fans. So let's go and dive into the one. This is from Say Less Hawkins. He says, quote, Jeremy, 12 minutes was a waste of time. Could have given those to somebody else who seemed to be more interested than he was. Watch the game, brother, man. Let's see. He says he was not interested at all. Something's going on. Maybe here's some rumors. It looks like Spurs fans are seeing what we're seeing already when it comes to Sohan out there. I don't know if I would say it's a waste of time. I don't think it's a waste of time.
Right.
Because in order to shake him out of whatever funk he's in, he's got to get out there. He's got to get out there and get the minutes. It's just, hand goes hand in hand. Let me ask you this. We didn't touch on it in the last segment here. Is there a Carter Bryant effect going on right now? Because Carter Bryant has the potential to do more than Sohan down the road in his young career. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, the other night when Carter Bryant his assignment was Joker, he was part of that group that brought them back and took the lead. So the Spurs know what Carter Bryant is going to do, and the Spurs are very crafty because it reminded me of challenging Bruce and challenging Brent Berry for minutes. So I know what you speak of. And so, you know, when it comes to that situation, Carter Bryant, that young man can play.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if he hits another 3 or 2, you're going to have a big problem because it seems like Carter Bryant has a better looking shot than Sohan does.
Yeah, he does. He does. And, you know, I mean, by the way, Carter Bryant's leaping ability is insane. I don't know if you've seen it. He guy can get up. And he's younger. He's younger. He's 19, 20 years old. You know, just barely scratching the surface. I guess maybe I'm not surprised he hasn't been with the Austin Spurs yet. And again, no knock on him. He told me that he's more than willing to accept an assignment to Austin. But the fact that they kept him on the San Antonio varsity squad, it speaks volumes. And he's getting minutes. He's getting minutes out there, whether it be for his defense, as you highlighted, versus Joker, or even the offense, as his 3-shot is little by little looking a little better now. So we'll definitely see. But yeah, I mean, Spurs fans definitely are seeing something's up with Sohan. I want Sohan to be a key piece of this team moving forward. But if it doesn't fit, Devin, it doesn't fit. And
right.
You know, he'll be entering free agency this offseason, and we'll see what the Spurs do now. He is a restricted free agent. Spurs can match. I don't see, and the thing about it too, Devin, he's not doing himself any favors right now by playing the way he's playing. If another team is looking at him, he might be able to get picked up, yes, but maybe not a bigger payday than he's expecting. Nevertheless, yeah, Sohan. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know, Devin.
Yeah. So Carter Bryant, and you said all the key things there. Yeah. Young guy, willing to learn. And the Spurs love that, love his energy. And I don't know if people pay attention to it. I know the Spurs, they pay attention to it, but every time that he's in there, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, he runs off. He sprints off the court, shakes the guy that's coming in for him, shakes his hand, goes to the bench, and then he's ready for you again. Oh, you know what? That's a breath of fresh air right there, seeing stuff like that, because you do have to deal with egos in the NBA. And I'm not saying that Sohan has one, but it's just good to see Carter Bryant. And the thing that the Spurs really love about him is that he's young and that he's willing to learn and he's willing to get better every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, first of all, thank you for the comment there. We appreciate it. Let's get you right here. Sayless Hawkins, thank you again for leaving us that comment. Keep them coming, everybody. We definitely love to hear what y'all are thinking about. But yeah, Sohan seems to be starting to get on the Spurs fans' base radar right now. They're noticing the same thing. Devin, before we let you go, you need to brag about the Locked On Spurs post-game shows. What are you and Casey cooking over there?
Hey, listen, great show. We're there, 15 minutes after the every game. We do a great job breaking it down, the wins, the losses, the positives, the negatives. Please join us. We'd love to have you.
Yes, and don't forget the Locked On Spurs Roundtable show, or should I say the squad shows. There was one yesterday night. It's archived. We're going to have one in a couple more days. So stay tuned to that. That's where myself, Devin, and Casey, we all get together, talk about your silver and black, what's on our minds, what is the pulse of the fan base, and how the team looking. It's a great roundtable show. Tune in for that. And everybody else, well, first of all, Devin, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And be safe, buddy. Be safe out there, man. I see.
Yeah, I'm parked. I'm good. We're good to go.
All right, good. Devin's safe, everybody. Devin is safe. Devin, thank you once again. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever we get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kins 5 Plus app, YouTube. What you got to do, subscribe ASAP, become an everydayer. We'll be back tomorrow as the Spurs season marches forward. Got that big road trip ahead, so we're looking at that and so much more. Don't forget to check out Locked On NBA. Go to YouTube, search Locked On NBA, subscribe, you're good to go. And don't forget the Locked On Spurs post-game shows with Devin Brown and Casey Vieira. So for my colleague, Mr. Devin Brown, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.